For years, there's been a lot of controversy with the U.S. military, um, with all the disappearances going on, all the murders, harassment, rape, um, cover ups, corrupt leadership, uh, and etc. And I mean, nothing's really been. It's it's not talked about that much. Like when people talk about how the military has changed now, they mostly talk about how, um, like compared to other countries, it's gotten like softer and it's gotten more like it's it's gotten I don't know, but like these are this everything that I just mentioned a few seconds ago. That's the real issue that really isn't being talked about that much. So, like the title says, in this video, I'm gonna be talking about. I didn't know where to start at first. I'm just decided I'm just gonna start with like the problems going on in our military, and then I'm at the end. I'm going to talk about my own experience in the army. Um, my very brief experience, I should say. Um, so yeah, I just got one note card this time because it's a lot. This is actually like it's not a last minute video, but this is something that came into my mind that I wanted to talk about. So I also forgot to mention like with the other list of things that's going on and problems going on in the military. There's also mental illness, and there are also mass shootings. I mean, we haven't heard of a mass shooting that happened in the military for some years. But I was doing some research. I think the last one was in 2014. Um, but yeah, let me make sure I didn't miss anything else on this list. So yeah, violence. There's a lot going on, and not talked about as much as it should. And so yeah, as far as the like murders and disappearances and the harassment, there was a lot of soldiers. Um, Fort Hood, that's been at the forefront of a lot of conspiracy. I mean, there's really no conspiracy. The evidence is right there. Like, I mean, this it's been all in the news. Like, 2019 and 2020. Uh, Recently, that's when Vanessa Guillen and Gregory Morales, just two names that popped up at the top of my head. They were two of the many that um, went missing at Fort Hood at first, and then at least Vanessa Guillen, her body was recovered, so she was murdered. Not sure about I don't remember about Gregory Morales. I think he died too. I'm not sure if he was murdered. He probably was. Didn't know something bad happened to him. But yeah, like I said, these are just two of the many soldiers that were um, killed at Fort Hood. Uh, so that's where a lot of these crimes have been taking place. But it's an issue all over the military. And I heard also in the Marines, sexual assault uh, rates have increased. And so, yeah, I actually have. Well, that's the next thing I'm going to talk about is they're struggling with recruitment. And so I remember reading an article about that a while back, so I just found it and I have it pulled up on my phone. But yeah, they're struggling with meeting their quota, meeting their numbers, and yeah, I know there's no mistake that there's a direct correlation between low recruitment numbers and what everybody's hearing about what's going on inside the military. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if people are like putting that off because of all of the negative experiences that other people are coming forth with for like with the rapes and with the murders and everything. So since this is more publicly known, um, then yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that people aren't automatically jumping up to sign up for to join the military at all. Uh, but of course, that article, the media isn't going to talk about that, and the military themselves aren't going to talk about that issue because, like I said, this is all this big cover up, and our government hasn't really talked about it either. I mean, they talk about it to report the statistics, but other than that, there hasn't really been any action taken to prevent this and to like take action against it. So, yeah. Um, so let me get to this article. It's from CNBC, and it's titled "Why the U.S. Military Faces a Growing Recruiting Crisis," and it was published Friday, August 26, 2022. So um, it's a few months ago, very recent. So it says the U.S. military faces a growing recruiting shortfall, one so large that legislators are getting concerned. The Army has to recognize that there has been an evolution in that young population, said U.S. Rep. Jackie Spear, a Democrat from California, chair of the subcommittee on military personnel. And if you're going to target that young population for service, you got to make it appealing to them. Well, yeah, and so far they haven't done that. I don't like know who finds appealing murders and harassment and all that other stuff. Uh, but yeah, um, I don't know how else they're gonna. I mean, that's how you can really make it appealing to them, making it a welcoming, safe environment um, to train in. That's just common sense to me. But okay, of all the military branches, the U.S. Army is running the into the most difficulty this fiscal year in bringing in recruits. Yeah, no surprise there. The Army services should manage to hit their goals, according to Stars and Stripes, but underlying issues continue to make recruiting a difficult endeavor. Some services are struggling more than the others, said Mackenzie Eaglin, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. The Army is certainly struggling the most. They're also the biggest. They're revisiting some of the fitness standards and some of the academic standards right now to try and scramble for the end of this fiscal year. The U.S. Department of Defense did not respond to CNBC's request for comment. Yeah, I bet they didn't. No surprise there. Um, because they know what's going on. Um, is that the end of the article? Okay, they got a video, but that was a really short article. I wasn't expecting to be this short. Uh, but yeah, they got a YouTube video too at the same time with the same title, so maybe it's longer. This definitely didn't even scratch the surface of like touching all um, the issues like what I just mentioned. They definitely didn't go in depth with this article about what's really going on inside our military. But yeah, that's what I lowering the standards. I mean, that's an issue too, but it's not as big as an issue with everything else that's going on. They can address that, but it's going to be a lot harder to address the years of cover-ups and the years of like scandals and all of these families of the victims who were murdered and raped and assaulted and harassed. Uh, yeah, it's just um, that's what we need to be focusing on. And Congress, they've done some like investigations with some of these cases, but they haven't done enough. So yeah, I'm gonna post the link to this article in the description like always. And as for everything else that I mentioned, the violence and the murders and corrupt leadership and the cover ups and all that stuff, um, I mean, there's a lot on all of that. I mean, like, there's a lot on just one, let alone like all the stuff that I mentioned. There's a lot of information articles that you can, look up yourself on your own time if you're curious about that. Um, but as for me, I'm just going to leave a link to that one article talking about their recruitment numbers. Um, so, yeah, I'm not sure what else to say there, but that's how it ties into my own personal story about my experience when I joined the army in, when was it? I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. It was either 2017 or 2018. So, yeah, not too long ago. But the reason why I said it was very brief because I stayed in there like, I don't know, a week and a half. So, but it was the longest week and a half that I've ever experienced. um, so yeah, I guess I'm just gonna like jump into my experience. So I'm not gonna get into like there was a lot that happened over that week/week and a half, and I'm not gonna get into like every little thing. Um, but I am just gonna like share a few of the like incidents, if you can call them that happened. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'll just let that be it after that. So I did have to write it down because it was just a lot, and I couldn't keep track a lot. So like, it's a lot to go through. So I won't start at the beginning because I wasn't like nothing really happened at the beginning. Uh, I'll just start with like the biggest issue, um, like the biggest issue that I had there. So a lot of the confrontations between me and these drill sergeants, they were mostly verbal. There wasn't like, I don't know. I mean, there were a few physical altercations too. Nothing like really serious. Um, but thing that I, the biggest like incident that I can remember that happened. So there was this like male drill sergeant, and so we were like standing outside at night. I can't remember what happened. Like I had like I don't remember what happened. Um, but I was outside, and so like there was him, and there was this like female drill sergeant, and so like um, he was yelling at me and screaming and everything, and but the issue here was that he was, well, I mean, I had an issue with, yelling and everything. But the main issue was he was invading my personal space, like to the point where our chests were actually touching. And I was yelling right back at him. Um, I mean, I wasn't doing all the cussing that he was, but I was throwing it right back in his face. I was yelling right back in. We were face to face, nose to nose, chest to chest, everything. I was waiting for him. I thought, the way he was acting, I thought, he's gonna, uh, do something like seemed like he wanted to fight something. That's what the energy he was giving me. He's being like really aggressive and like just unnecessary uses. Um, it was just a miracle that I just didn't swing on this idiot. Like I don't, uh, I'm not a fighter. I'll only get into a fight when I absolutely have to. And I was waiting for him to make the first move. I was waiting for him to like, do something first. And he didn't. He was all bark and no bite like the rest of them there. But anyways, he was like, we're going back and forth. But yeah, the issue was he was just like his body was like touching mine. And it got to the point where like the female drill sergeant, she like lightly pushed him back twice, and she told him twice to like back up, and he would still come back into my face. And so I mean, eventually he backed up, and then I went close to him, and he was like, "Back up," but I just ignored him. Like, you're literally doing the same thing to me a few seconds ago. Like, don't tell me to back up. And why I got into his space is because I was trying to read his name tag. I don't remember any of their names, by the way, and it's not important. Um, oh, by the way, I was stationed at Fort Jackson. I'm not going to mention any other like personal details about my rank or my job assignment or any of that stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's not important anyways, but I will let you know, stationed at Fort Jackson. Um, so yeah, but eventually he walked away, and I yelled after him, "Yeah, I know your name now. I know what you look like. All that stuff." um, so yeah, so nothing really happened other than that verbal exchange. Um, and yeah, another thing that happened where somebody actually like touched me or touched like I considered it touching me, but so we were getting our food, we were getting our MREs, our meal, whatever it stands for. They were like meals that are already prepared. You just have to tear open the package and eat it. By the way, those are like so hot too when you open them. They're I don't know why they're just like so hot. Maybe that's just because it's prepared for you to eat. But anyways, I told this drill sergeant I was vegetarian, so he went back into the room where they kept the MREs. Came back with a vegetarian MRE for me to eat. I just read it just to make sure because I didn't trust any of these drill sergeants. But it was vegetarian as far as I could tell. So we went back to against the wall to like eat. My battle buddy. If you don't know, that's what they call like you're assigned a person to stick with you the entire time you're there. Like you're literally like attached to the hip. You go everywhere together. Like if you're going to the bathroom, your battle buddy has to go with you. Like if you go anywhere, they have to follow along with you. And I found out that later that they did this. It's like a system to like make sure that nobody, tries to run away, which was on my mind all the time. Anyways, I mean, battle buddy or not, if I wanted to do that, I could have very well done that. Nobody would could have stopped me, but I didn't do that. Because where was I going to go anyways? But yeah, that's a battle buddy that just like stick with you. So we went. She sat down. I went against the wall. But actually, let me back up some. As I was walking with my MRE away from this drill sergeant, for some reason he reached out and he violently grabbed my backpack. I don't remember what it's called. We all had to carry it. It's like a water jug, like a water sack. It's like a backpack, but it has like a nozzle where you can like fill it with water, and we had to drink from it because it was. This was in where was Fort Jackson? Was it South Carolina? It was in another state. It was the first time I've been in another state. It was really hot over there. It was like I think it was wintertime over here, but over there it was like super super hot. So we had to drink from these all the time, stay hydrated because we were doing physical activities and stuff. Anyways, he grabbed that. He bought for whatever reason. I don't know. He gave me my MRE, but I felt him like violently tug me back by that backpack. And then I spun around. I'm like, don't touch me. And he's like, I didn't touch you. I touched I just grabbed your backpack or whatever that's called. I'm like, well, that's still attached to me. Like, don't touch me. And it's a miracle I didn't swing on him either because I don't, that's crossing a line for me. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't hit any of these people, to be honest. I mean, it caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it because, like, I didn't say anything to him. I didn't do anything to him. I was about to go and eat my food. I don't know. It was completely unprovoked. It was completely random and unnecessary. Um, yeah. So anyway, what was the other? There was so much. Oh my gosh. Uh, what else happened? So there was this other drill sergeant, and I was convinced that he had unresolved anger slash emotional issues, and he one time he referred to us, all of us recruits, as he was talking and he referred to us. He said these MFers. And I don't swear, I'm not about to start now. Even if I'm quoting somebody, I'm not gonna like if if I'm quoting them, I'm not gonna like repeat verbatim what they said if it's like involving any profanity. Um, you can probably tell what a mother effer is, but yeah, as he said these MFers, uh, completely disrespectful. Instead of saying these recruits, these oh, very disrespectful. And then one night he came in. Now, mind you, I'm not getting any sleep there because I'm so stressed out. So my sleep wasn't good there. Like I didn't even have an appetite there. I mean, I ate anyways. But yeah, I wasn't sleeping. I didn't have an appetite because I was just so stressful. I was just like, yeah. So I'm not sure if I was already awake when this happened. I probably was. Maybe I was asleep. I don't know. But anyway, he stormed into our barracks dorm, whatever it's called. I always call it barracks because that's the name. And he came in with another female drill sergeant. Turned on the lights. He started yelling at the top, screaming at the top of his lungs, "Get the f up!" And so, I mean, I think I was already up. So, yeah, he's. Uh, what else? And he was. I don't know. I don't know why he came in there. We were all asleep. I don't know if there's any reason like nothing was going on, like nothing was happening inside our barracks, our dorm. But he was like, I remember him complaining about something like people not being in their proper stations. I wasn't assigned a job, thank God, but other people were assigned jobs. I can't remember their names, but like I don't know if you're in the military, you know what I'm talking about. But there's people who have to stay up at night. Um, do rounds around the dorm, make sure everything's like, okay. Um, I guess you could call them watchers. I don't know. Like they have to stay up while everybody's asleep just to make sure things are okay. Uh, there's other people, they have to do like a roll call before everybody goes to bed. They have to write all their names down, on this list, make sure everybody's accounted for, and then they turn it into the drill sergeant the next day. And yeah, and then of course there was like cleaning and everything. Um, but yeah, for whatever reason, I wasn't assigned a job. Uh, so yeah, probably because like I was leaving anyways. I don't know. But he was complaining about that. I don't know, but I don't know why he stormed in there in the first place. And I guess I'll never will know. But he definitely had some emotional issues. Uh let's see. Oh, so there was another thing that happened, and this was my fault, but I originally thought like somebody stole my stuff or something. But I thought I misplaced my belongings. And um so I was running around trying to figure out what happened to my stuff. And so I passed this drill sergeant. I said, my stuff is missing. And then he promptly retorted back with, "Why don't you ask your effing battle buddy?" And then he left. And so, um, yeah, but eventually I figured out what happened was this: I went into the wrong barracks, and it wasn't mine. So once I returned to my own dorm, then I saw all my stuff. Everything was there. Nothing was missing, stolen, misplaced. It was my fault. But again, there's the disrespect. There's the just blatant disrespect. Just uh, and I just want to mention, like, I didn't do anything to warrant any of like this. I mean, I shouldn't be disrespected, period. But I didn't warrant any of this like behavior from the drill sergeants. I did what they asked me to do. The only thing that I The only thing that I directly, the only order I directly disobeyed, everybody wore, I think it's called PTs or whatever. It's like a the uniform they give us when we first come in, and the shorts were like, I'm conservative. I dress conservatively, so the shorts on me were like too short. For some reason, they couldn't find some in my size. So I just said, okay, can I, wear the pants? Because they have the pants for in the winter and then they have the summer. It was hot over here, but, you know, I don't care. Like in the summertime, I dress conservatively too. So since they didn't have any longer shorts, I just asked them if I could wear the pants. So I wore the pants. I didn't have any issue with the uniform itself other than the length of the shorts. Um, and then I wore the t-shirt. There's nothing wrong with the t-shirt, so I didn't have to wear the jacket. Um, but yeah, other than that, I just said that to mention, that's the only thing that I didn't do. Everything else, I went along with all their other like ridiculous orders. But uh, yeah. So also, what happened there? Now I don't remember what the store was called. There's this store where you get all your toiletries and stuff. I think it's called a commissary. I don't know. I don't care. But I'll call it the store slash commissary. No, let's call it commissary. And so I brought my own toiletries because I was doing my own research before I even came over here. Came over like before I joined. I was watching videos and everything. And so yeah, I saw all of, like the yelling and doing the push-ups and all of hard physical works and like uh, all that stuff. But they didn't mention anything. There was no like profanity and all that stuff and all the other disrespect because they knew if they showed that, then people wouldn't want to join, or maybe they just didn't want to disclose like that all that was happening. But yeah, I did my research, and there were some people who told us they were like giving some advice to travel light because they already have stuff provided there for you. They already have toiletries, all your needs, all your basic needs will be met. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna bring like um, a backpack with just to be on the safe side. I didn't bring like a whole ton of bunch of stuff. I thought I'd be able to like bring suitcases, bags, and stuff. There were people who were like duffel bags and like multiple bags. I just wore one backpack, and it was like pretty full too, but it wasn't like too full. I had my essentials like my phone. I think I brought my wallet. Um, yeah, I didn't bring. I came with my dress on, so I didn't bring any extra clothes. But you know what? I don't think I did. I don't think I brought my toilet. I can't remember. I don't think I did. Maybe I can't remember for sure. But anyways, they gave us they gave us all cards with money on it to use at this commissary. So for whatever reason, again, there was no explanation all given to me of why this happened. But I was not given that card. I was waiting there in this room with everybody else, all the other crews getting their name called, getting their card. My name was never called, and I didn't get that card. So I was angry about that. But I mean, I couldn't do anything about that. I couldn't like go there and like take the card. They had to give it to me. So if they weren't going to give it to me, then they weren't going to give it to me. So what they told me to do instead, which was so ridiculous, they just told me um to like borrow from like my battle buddy. First I had one battle buddy, and then like when she left, then I got two. So they told me to borrow from my battle buddies. And I'm like, this is just like ridiculous. You're not telling me why you're not giving me this card. I mean, because that's no big deal. Just give me the card so I can like get stuff to like provide for my own basic needs, like deodorant, toothpaste, and like other feminine hygiene products. Um, thank goodness I wasn't like. Well, I won't get into like. I don't want to gross anybody out, but thank goodness like I wasn't on my my cycle, my menstrual cycle, because then that would have been like a really, really bad issue, and I would have really went crazy then. So thank goodness that didn't happen while I was over there. But yeah, so I had to do that because I couldn't be unhygienic or dirty, so I just had to borrow toothpaste or not deodorant, like certain things you just don't share, but like borrowed what I could. And other than that, I took showers and used like the other stuff that was just provided for us, like the soap, towels, and everything. Um, yeah. So that was just ridiculous. Still to this day, I don't know why they did that. It doesn't matter now because this was years later, and I have moved on with my life. Um, let's see. We're getting down to like, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm not gonna go over every little thing. Uh, Now, out of all of this, there was one drill sergeant. She was pretty cool. She was decent. I remember when I was having like issues with my hair because they were really strict about like everything, like from even from the way that you sit, but especially with your hair for the females, since they didn't cut the females' hair off like they did the males, their hair had to be like up to standard too. I mean, I was fine, like, but my hair, I don't know what issue they have with my hair. They're always like telling me to correct my hair. So my hair was always in a bun. That's the style I always wore it in. So like when I came over here, I mean, that was perfect for me because my hair is always in a bun anyways. But it was like, I don't know, maybe it was the thickness of it. I don't know. I couldn't really like do much about that because I don't know how to do like complex hairstyles. I just stick with simple hairstyles. So I fixed it up as much as I could. But anyway, there was this like decent female drill sergeant. She would help me, fix up my hair, and she was the kindest there to me. The only issue I had with her and with other drill sergeants there, they always referred to us as female. Like if they needed get your attention, they said, "Hey, female." Um, I would have preferred recruit. Even that would have sounded better than female because, like, we didn't have our what's it called? I want to say fatigues. I don't know what they're called. Like, the camouflage. They didn't get that until basic training. Well, they didn't wear that until basic training. I mean, they gave it to them before they went to basic training. But that has their name, the rank, all the information about the soldier or about the recruit on there. And with this, our uniforms, they didn't have anything to identify us by. So they said, "Hey, female." I don't know what they call the guys. Um, but yeah, I didn't like that. I would have preferred recruit, like I said, because just female. I know what my gender is. I don't need to be called female. Like, um, most of the time, I didn't respond if a drill sergeant called me that, I just ignored them. I didn't respond. Um, but yeah, it was just dehumanizing. It was degrading, and I just didn't respond to that nonsense. Like, you're not gonna call me recruit. That's what you need to address me by. But they just, for some reason, it was just female, female, female. Like, oh no, what? No. Yeah. So the last thing, eventually they called in. Oh, I said I wasn't gonna start at the beginning. I forgot this other thing that happened. I mean, it wasn't like out of everything that happened, this was like really small. But when we first got there on the first day, literally the first day, I was already having an issue. I was having an issue before I even came to Fort Jackson, but I won't get too much into that. But yeah, like I was having an issue way back at reception, like before it was so crazy. But yeah, on the first day, so they had us do like a bunch of push-ups, and then we were all herded into this room to like eat quickly and then watch this video on this TV about like, it was just basically explaining how things are done there. And then they had to sign all this paperwork. So as we're doing the paperwork, um, the person who was giving us the instructions, it was a drill sergeant. He was like speaking really fast, and I was like already like just not feeling this whole place, and was just like stressed out already. So I wasn't really following like what he was saying about what how to fill out this paperwork. So when it came time to fill out the paperwork, I was like, looking at it and trying to fill it out, and then all of a sudden, my pen was snatched from my hands. I look up, it was a drill sergeant, and he's like, no, and then he started like filling in the proper response or whatever, and I was like, again, like I was just so, I was just so taken aback, and so I started filling the paperwork again, and then he came around again, and then he snatched it from me again, and then he threw the pen on the table, and then he told my the girl next to me, he's like, hey, can you help her out because she says she's not very smart, and so I stood up, my chair like fell back, and I just like, I walked out of the room, and like I went outside. There were so many like there were so many instances where I just want to like, run away and everything, but like I didn't do that. I did try to do it once. Um yeah, after I left with that guy, and I was, go because we're surrounded by woods, and it was like nighttime when that happened, and then he followed me outside. He's like, where are you? He's like, where are you going, female? It's like with the female nonsense again. He's like, don't go into the woods. He said something like they're shooting out there, like they're practicing shooting or something. I don't know. Like, and I don't know why I believed him because I didn't want to get shot. So, eventually I returned back inside. But I don't know why I believed him because I don't know any. I mean, I don't know if they do shooting at that time of night. Like, I didn't hear anything, and I don't think they do like shooting training exercises or whatever at that time of night. Everybody's like, getting ready to like wind down for bed and everything, because we got to get up early in the morning. So they lied a lot. That's another thing. They told a lot of lies. I don't even know why I listened to him. But every time I had that urge to run, I just got this like really, really, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like, I don't know. I just got this gut feeling that something bad was going to happen if I did that. It was like really strong too. Like I've never had a feeling like that before. I don't know. Like I don't know what that was. I want to say not instinct, but like I don't know. Maybe something bad would happen. I mean, because it's the woods. I don't know what kind of wild animals are out there. Like you know, I could have gotten lost. Some crazy person could have been out there, some crazy murderer. I probably would have gotten dehydrated, probably would have starved. I don't know. Anything could have happened. But for whatever reason, that's the reason why I didn't run away. I just got this really strong feeling that something really, really bad was gonna happen to me if I did that. So I never ran out into those woods. Otherwise, I most likely would have done that because I was like, I was reaching that limit. They were pushing me very close to that limit. But yeah, so that was another thing that happened. Like I said, it was like really small, but again, it was like the disrespect. I shouldn't say it was small. It was like because anytime anybody disrespects me, like it's not small to me. And I always say, I don't care who you are, like your authority. I don't care your gender, male or female. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how small you are. I don't care who you know. I don't care what you know. I don't care about anything about that. If you cross the line with me, if you disrespect me, then I'm gonna disrespect you back. It's just as simple as that. And a lot of people who are like in authority over you and high authority over you, they think that they can do whatever and abuse their authority. And with a lot of these drill sergeants, that's the impression that I got from them. And I just didn't tolerate it. I just didn't like cower and like with some people did. Some of the recruits, they cried on their first day there. I mean, that's not too uncommon. But some of them, they kept quiet about it. And I mean, I didn't do any of that. Like, I didn't I didn't fight anybody, but I wasn't like I didn't keep quiet about the way that I was treated there either. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. The last thing that happened, they finally called the MPs on me. I think I think that's the first time. I think they only did it one time that they called the MPs. MP stands for military police, and yeah, I think they called. No, I don't think that's the first time. Well, this time that happened, they called like three of them, and yeah, it's the first time I was ever like put in handcuffs. It was like a pretty bad experience for me. But I will give the MPs credit though. They remain professional, especially the female MP. Um, they were just doing their job, you know, but they were being professional throughout. Um, but yeah, like nothing got too crazy. But yeah, I was like, you know, they put me in handcuffs because I just didn't want to go back. Like I just didn't want to. I was just done. But after that happened, after that experience with the MPs, like I just from then on I just did everything within reason that they asked me to do. Like because I was trying to get out of there, and anything that I refused, it was just slowing down the process of me leaving Fort Jackson, me leaving the army, leaving the military period. And I was trying to get out of there. I desperately wanted to get out of there. I didn't like the environment, didn't like the people. Um, the recruits, my fellow recruits, uh, I wasn't too crazy about them either. They were disrespectful too. Like I said, I wasn't getting sleep, and even to the people who were had to stay up for their little job assignment, and they were trying to get some sleep, and they were just like so disrespectful, playing loud music with all this profanity, and they like played it really loud, and I was just laying in bed one time and there was this group of girls like talking really loud right by my bed, and I told them, hey, I said politely, hey, you guys just kind of lower your voice, and then they stared at me like looking at me crazy, like I just asked something crazy, and I stared right back at them. But they did lower the voice though. So I didn't care as long as they lowered their voices. But yeah, they were just some of them there were some of the other recruits were disrespectful too. So safe to say, I didn't make any friends there, and that's not what I came. My original purpose for joining the army was because I was trying to become like fully independent, and I heard about the good salary that they paid. That was the only reason why I joined in the first place. I wasn't crazy about it, but you know that's why I did it, and everything just went downhill. Like I said, from reception. Reception is the place you go to like get sworn in, do other paperwork, um, and yeah, it's just like you know. And once you get sworn in, that's it. Like you're stuck there until they kick you out. Like you can't decide. That's why I tried to make it as hard for them as I could because I really need to get out of there. So um, yeah, and then they lost my stuff too. Like I got my, you know, my phone and all of that. I got all that back, but there was like this bag that they gave us, and I that's why I didn't care about it because it was all the stuff that they gave us, like all of our uniforms, like the water jug, all the stuff that they gave us. And but I mean, still misplaced it, or maybe they just like I don't know what they did with it. Maybe it was on purpose. Maybe like because they didn't think I would take it with me. And I mean, I wouldn't have if I even if I had it. I already have my own stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Uh, I can't believe this is already going on 45 minutes. But yeah, um, I would say don't join the military at all. I originally wanted to join the Marines just because of the commercials I saw. They seemed like more orderly, more put together, more disciplined. And that's another thing. um, the approach that they were taking towards the recruits at Fort Jackson, I mean, it just didn't work. It didn't build any discipline in anybody because, like, when the recruits were just left to their own devices, like, mostly on the weekends, when we got, like, these drill sergeants who weren't, like, more laid back, They just like ran all over them. They just like there was no discipline. Like if you left these younger recruits to their own devices, like there was like wild animals kind of like it was. Um, so yeah, it's just the way that the military goes about like training and like disciplining their soldiers. There's a better way. I know there's a better way. I could think of many other better ways than just degrading, disrespecting, yelling insults and profanities at people who are like literally signing their life away to give their life for this country. I knew that's what I had to do. Like if that came down to it. I mean, thankfully I was out of there like within a week, but that's what I was most worried about because I wasn't joining for that purpose. Like I said, I have my own reasons, and it definitely wasn't that. I love my country, but like not enough to die for it, you know. But for people who are passionate about that, there are people who like from a young age they want to join the military, and yeah, I would just say don't do it because with the military, the environment that the military is right now, like all these cover ups and stuff going on, all this like corruption. It's just not worth it. You can find another way, safer way to serve the country. But I mean, people are really passionate about that. I mean, they'll put up with that crap just so they can, just so they can defend this country. They'll put up with all that nonsense. Uh, but everybody else, like, they shouldn't sign up for the military. At least like not the way it is now. I mean, in the future, if it gets better, which I highly doubt, um, then yeah. But for right now, definitely no. Uh, yeah, I think that's it. For at least for that, and yeah. So I'm making this video like more so for myself, like just to get it off my chest. I've never made a video or talked publicly about my experience in the army, just because like after it was all said and done, I just wanted to move on with my life. I just want to forget the whole thing like ever happened because it was just like I talk about me dropping out of school being the worst mistake of my life. I think joining the army was a close second worst mistake of my life, and then leaving was the greatest decision of my life because who knows what would have happened if I stayed in there. I definitely like would have gone crazy. Because then I had like a few more months of basic training from what I did know, and then I would go on to my actual job assignment for however long. And I didn't want to make a career of this, but like I said, like if it actually worked out, it probably I don't know, I probably would have spent like a couple of years in the military because like I said, I just wanted to get a good salary, get good pay, just become just like independent. So if things worked out successfully and in some alternate reality, that's the path that I probably would have gone down. But I didn't go down that path because I refused to be degraded, dehumanized, disrespected, all of that. And yeah, just so yeah, it didn't work out. And then I went back to school after that. I knew I had like a life outside of that. Like that wasn't my only option. For some people, joining the military, that's their only option for whatever reason they need that discipline in their lives. But for me, that wasn't the case. I had other options. I had other things I wanted to do. So it didn't work out. But it did sort of did work out. I mean, not the military, but my life went on. When I went on to be, successful. Like graduate and get my degrees and move into my apartment, all that stuff. So things still turn out for the better, uh, regardless of what I went through in there. But yeah, I'm just doing this video more for myself. I mean, just to like inform people about what's going on in the military for those who don't know, but also, I mean, just more for me just to get this experience off my chest. And yeah, uh, yeah, agree, disagree. That's fine. But yeah, that's all I have for this video for today.